Welcome to Elevate Springfield, where we will dive into strategies and stories that help you rise to your full potential. Each episode, we'll talk about how you can take intentional steps to elevate your life and your business while making a meaningful impact on those around you. Along the way, we're going to bring in the change makers from our community that are already elevating. We'll bring the actionable strategies, you bring the discipline and follow through, and together, we can elevate Springfield. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Elevate Springfield Shorts, where we will give you additional actionable strategies, maybe dive into a little bit more from what we had from the full episode, so you can take these strategies, add your discipline and follow through, and achieve results. So, hey, today, I want to talk a little bit about be obsessed or be average. Hey, if you haven't read the book by Grant Cardone, Be Obsessed or Be Average, I would highly recommend it. First thing with that, you need to embrace the fact that you are responsible for your own success. The obsessed embrace that fact that they alone are responsible for success. Now, I know obsessed can sometimes come off with a bad connotation, but when you're obsessed with the right things, it can lead you to extraordinary success. So when it comes down to it, you and only you are the one who gets to choose whether you're going to settle for less or whether you're going to become obsessed with wanting more out of life. So it's time to give yourself permission to become obsessed. And your first task is to tell yourself now and all the time that you really can, be exceptional in everything. Success in general is the attainment of potential, and your potential will expand to be bigger than you ever thought possible if you keep pushing yourself to achieve more. Because when you're obsessed with something, it doesn't give you the space for satisfaction or complacency, right? You'll have to deal with the fact that you will always be uncomfortable with that because your obsession is driving you to do bigger and bigger things. Now, with that, there's going to be plenty of naysayers and doubters in your life trying to convince you to quit. They are not really talking to you, though. They are talking to themselves. They are saying, hey, I didn't do this, so I can try to convince you not to do it too. Typically, it's them trying to rationalize why they haven't achieved what they want to achieve through giving you doubt. So a lot of people feel like there should be, you have to try to strike this balance. But when you're looking at obsession or when you're looking at 10X, you're not really looking for balance. So 10X people that have subscribed to the 10X mindset know that they can be exceptional in all areas of their life, which means they can be obsessed with everything that is great in their life, and they don't have to, quote unquote, strike a balance. We're not talking about mediocre goals here. We're not talking about just enough. We're talking about being exceptional. So giving yourself permission to break away from the normal, break away from the average, and become obsessed is a good thing. And you can quit worrying about that people in your life will think you're crazy and just embrace it, right? All the things that people do that create massive amounts of success are typically out of the ordinary. You can't get to greatness by being average. So what are you obsessed with? And how can that fit into your career and life? This comes down to your purpose. Once you know what your purpose is right now, you can stop denying the obsessions and the self-sabotage that keeps you from going forward. So how do you figure out what is worth being obsessed with? Not everything you do is going to be right up your alley. It may take a little bit to figure out what your true purpose is. I know it took me a while, but becoming massively successful involves massive amounts of hard work and a lot of times struggle. So in order to identify the obsessions that are worth your time, you first have to find your purpose. So finding that purpose involves asking yourself several specific questions and honestly answering them. So here's some of the most powerful questions that Grant Cardone recommends you answer for yourself in order to find your purpose. So what excites you right now? What do I do that causes me forget to eat? Have you ever forgotten to eat because you've been so involved in what you were doing? What are you willing to do for no money? What are you willing to do for free? What can you do better than anyone, or at least anyone that you know, right? And then what do you want to be remembered for? That's the legacy question there, right? The answers to these questions will give you answers about which obsessions are worth your time and which you can give up. And keep in mind too that this is not a one and done thing. This can change over time. Your purpose today might not be your same purpose a year from now. So you need to constantly go back to these reboot and figure out what your purpose is, so you know where your obsessions lie, so you know where to go all in. Once you have those obsessions lined up, Cardone calls them your beasts. If you don't feed your beasts, your obsession will falter, your goals will fester, and you'll lose your sense of purpose if you don't feed those obsessions, feed those beasts. So that means waking up every day, ready to set higher goals, doing more, surrounding yourself with people that are doing the same thing. You don't want to think in terms of impossible. You want to take that out of your vocabulary. You want to integrate your goals into every moment of your life. Eat, sleep, and breathe them. That is what it means to be truly obsessed. Keep your eyes locked on the future rather than dwelling on the mistakes and disappointments of the past. So when you're feeding your beasts, you want to be constantly learning about your industry. Feed your economic beast by getting your money right and putting it to work for you. And you want to feed your social beast by surrounding yourself with the most successful people you can. Always reaching up, stretching to people that are more successful than you. The alternative to this, if you're not feeding those beasts, if you're not feeding those obsessions, doubt can start to creep in, and letting the naysayers and doubters into your life is a quick way to sabotage your goals. So everywhere you go, you're going to encounter doubt. You'll encounter people who make themselves feel better by making you doubt. Don't take advice from the doubter. Only take advice from people who are as successful as you want to be. And then you need to get all the people around you on board, knowing that you've made this decision to be obsessed in all areas of life that are going to give you this exceptional super life. So as we've talked before, sometimes this means that some things or some people are no longer part of your plan. So you have to have the right people around you in order to continue to feed those beasts, feed those obsessions. And when you do this, it's going to allow you, when you feed those beasts, starve the doubts, it's going to allow you to dominate every sector of your life. You want to dominate yourself. That means taking control of your attitude, your ambition, your energy, and your confidence. You want to dominate your time. You want to control time, not manage it. We'll talk more about that in a future segment. You want to dominate your finances, and you want to dominate your area of expertise. You want to be the go-to person in your space. So, what is your purpose? How will that relate to your obsessions? Today, let's start finding our purpose, feeding our beasts, feeding our obsessions, starving our doubts so you can be obsessed or be average. Hey, and again, if you don't have the book, get it, give it a read. That's it for today's Elevate Springfield Shorts. We'll have the full episode for you on Monday, and we'll see you next week. Hey, everybody, if you like what you've heard so far, hey, join us over on Facebook. We have a group and a page over there. You can also join our free community where we will bring you additional insights and strategies to help you elevate your life, your business, and ultimately our community. You can find that link in the show notes. We would love to have you join us.